Hello. So something I didn't mention in the video you're about to watch is the fact that they are adding in the PARS 3LR missile, but it's not going to have its fire and forget capabilities. Right now, at least, the German Tiger is going to have the fire and forget, and volley fire will not be available to this missile at this stage, as we believe that it will tip the balance too far in its favor. So instead we're just going to add it in for some odd reason. I'm guessing it's to try and make it different to the other machines. But the main thing is, it will not get its fire and forget nature. I think it's a step towards that, and I'm sure in the near future we'll be seeing some of these fire and forget ideas. Anyway, it will be operating according to the algorithm of the missiles, with semi-active homing capabilities and the ability to attack from the upper hemisphere in relation to the target. So pretty much like how the Hellfires work in game right now. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that you knew about that. I hope you enjoy this video, and well, see you in about 2 seconds. Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we are back in War Thunder looking at another devlog for updates 1.91, and this isn't just for one vehicle, this is actually for 3. Yes, we are having an expansion into helicopters rank 7, and it is going to be at the feet of course, the Eurocopter Tiger. It's going to be coming to the German tech tree and also the French tech tree in slightly different forms. So the main 3 modifications of this vehicle that we're going to get is the Tiger HAP, which is going to be a premium French vehicle, rank 6, as a store bundle with a 30mm turret, rockets, the 80 gem Hot 3s, and also Mistral missiles. The Germans, at top tier, are getting the Tiger UHT, which is going to be a rank 7 helicopter, has access to 70mm rockets, MG pods, Hot 3 ATGMs, and also Stingers and PARS 3LR missiles, which we'll get into in a little bit. Then you have the Tiger HAD, which is going to be at the top tiers of France rank 7. And it has the 30mm turret, rockets, 80 gem Hot 3s, Hellfires, and also Mistral missiles. So what I'm basically seeing from this is an acknowledgement that the German and the French helicopter tech trees are not on the same level as the top echelons of the American and the Soviet tech trees, so therefore they need a little bit of help. And that's completely fine, because it is the case, you know, it is a fact that if you look at the top tiers of the French and German tech trees, they are nothing close to the Mi-35M and also the AH-1Z. But in the form of the Eurocopter Tiger, maybe you don't have as many munitions that you can fire out, since it can only carry up to 8 ATGMs. It still is much better than the alternatives which are in game right now. Even though it is nice to have each nation having a helicopter tech tree, you still need those tech trees to be, at least in some form or another, equally balanced, or you need them to all have their own little flair. And when you have a look at the American and the Soviet one, you kind of get that, you know, they have ATGMs, they have air-to-air missiles, they have generally gun mounts and the nose. They are, at least some form of them, they're symmetrical in their own ways. But if you look at the French and German ones, they are nowhere near the power of those machines. So the Eurocopter Tiger is a much welcomed surprise, alongside the British helicopters which are coming out as well. Hopefully this means that we're going to get some kind of badass rank 7 British helicopter, or at least you know, setting up maybe something like an Apache down the line. I'm sure the H-1Z and the Mi-35M are going to be pushed up to rank 7 to be at the similar BRs as these Eurocopter Tigers. One thing I do actually want to mention, which is kind of out of the blue, but I've just remembered it now. A few people in the last video were asking me about the night vision of the Panther II, and Stoner has said that the Panther II will have night vision implemented at a later time, so that is an answer to that. But let's start talking about some of these different things. So first thing is that we're getting a premium, and we're getting 2 standard tech tree vehicles. Now whenever they add a premium in the game, it's always, at least in my opinion, right to have a look to see if there is a standard tech tree equivalent to make sure that you are not paying for power. And from this, you have the HAP and the HAD. The HAD seems to have more options to it. The fact that it's able to carry Hellfires, where the HAP is not, shows to me that even though the premium helicopter for France is going to be incredibly good, you know, this machine here is going to be incredibly good with its 8 ATGMs, the 4 Mistrals, or the Stingers, which it's going to be able to have. It still has a standard tech tree equivalent, therefore it is, you know, good for me. It isn't like a similar situation that we see in ships or naval when it comes to the destroyers, where the premium destroyer is just a better version of the one in the tech tree. No, it seems to be the other way around here for the helicopters, therefore I'm incredibly happy about that. Now, there is obviously a conversation to have that, you know, the French are getting this really good premium helicopter. What else are other nations getting? I mean, the G-Lynx is pretty solid, and the other nations, apart from maybe the Americans, don't have pretty good premium helicopters, so we might see another expansion into that. And because of the fact that this was a joint venture between West Germany and France, it kills 2 birds with 1 stone, meaning that we can have both machines at, you know, the higher echelons. But just remember the major difference between the German one and the French one, which is noticeable, is the fact that the French ones have chin-mounted guns, whereas the German ones opt out of that in form of wing-mounted, well, not wing-mounted, but MG pods, which sit under these little areas on the hard points themselves. So yeah, it's basically a nice, it's basically bringing parity to all of the helicopter tech trees that we have in game now, meaning that it is worth grinding through each of the different tech trees instead of just a single one, and I hope it does give a lot of actual, you know, reason for people to play towards them. Now, what is interesting is 2 factors. So you have these PARS, or PARS 3LR missiles, and then you have the Stingers, which are at least available on this premium version, but are not mentioned for the HAD version at the top of the French tech tree. Now, the Stingers, at least last time we checked them in the files, because they have been there for a while on the dev server, and at least they were updated yesterday when we were having a look, they had a max overload of 25 Gs, which is 5 Gs greater than the SRAMs on the Hunter, and they also had similar speeds to the SRAMs and just insane maneuverability, and also to do damage to something they had to get within 5 meters, which is actually quite a large blast radius if you think about it. So the AIM-92 Stingers, at least right now in the files, are looking incredibly good compared to some of the other machines, or, you know, some of the things that we have in game. On top of this as well, they are missiles which have the air-to-air component to them, which should be incredibly fun to use, and a lock-on of around about 5 seconds. Now let's talk about the big difference between the German one and the other two. This here, the PARS 3LR missiles. You can see it in this picture here. It is this white missile that you can see, and this is known as a 3rd generation anti-tank long-range missile, or the AC-3G, which is known as in French. It's a fire and forget missile, and it can be used against air or ground targets. So this thing it's a fire and forget missile, which is incredibly deadly, of up to 7 kilometers. So this is the first real, I suppose, AGM that we're going to have, which is fire and forget in the game, apart from the Hellfires, which seem to be a little bit dodgy when it comes to how they work in game. So overall, that is going to be what the Germans are going to be good at. They're going to have all the nice things on top of, you know, what the others have, but they lose the gun pod and gain these fire and forget missiles, which will be incredibly fun. Also, the Hot 380 GM will eat through everything like butter, and also with the night vision devices that we've seen been illustrated here, I'm really hoping that these ideas are added to the Eurocopter Tigers as well, since there is no way these would not have them since they were developed in the 80s and used today as well. And as I said, developed by West Germany and France in conglomeration with each other. The other thing as well is their protection should be a little bit higher than other machines that we have in the game, because they have a composite armor body. Now, this composite armor body, even though it is, just an overall body, it should be good up to generally 20 or 23 millimeter rounds, but it's not going to be good against anything more than that. So you still should be able to annihilate it in the air, especially with the systems that we have in the game, the ground-to-air missile systems in the form of the Roland, the Flarak, the ADATs, the Tunguska. They should all tear these machines up. But these are some of the most beautiful helicopters that we've ever seen in War Thunder, and the only thing that I would actually say it's worse than is something like an Apache, which is so iconic to, just general warfare, which I'm sure we're going to see pretty soon as well, now that Rank 7 has been talked about. The last thing we're going to talk about is the pricing. So the French premium, because remember, you're getting a French standard tag tree, German standard tag tree, French premium, and the French premium, the EC665, is $49.99. You alongside that get 2000 GE, 15 days of premium accounts, a 4th Special Forces Helicopter Regiment decal, which you can see here, and also the pre-order bonus of the Golden Eye title, which I don't really understand, but it is how it is. You can also get it in a bundle, where the bundle is 30% off, and you get the Super AIM-X 30 with it. If you haven't played the Super AIM-X 30, it is an incredibly good vehicle, fully stabilized, fully APFS de-essed up, has a better engine than its tech tree counterpart, and flies around just like the Leopard L44, the Type 74G, the OF40 MTCA. All of these vehicles are incredibly good at their BR, and the Super AIM-X 30 is no different. And since there is a lot of vehicles at 8.7, you normally don't get up to too much, and you're normally top dog. So I've seen Super AIM-X 30's wreck teams, and I'm sure they're going to keep wrecking as they're going, unless the BR is changed to the vehicles. So with that said, you can get a bundle at 30% off both of these vehicles. Overall, you get 4000 GE, 30 days of premium, and of course the pre-order bonuses for the Tiger. Another thing to mention as well is if you already have the Super AIM-X 30, you can get this Tiger pack for 30% off. All you have to do is be logged in and make sure to go to this page instead of this page, and you'll get yourself 30% off the $49.99, since what this bundle does is it deducts the items which you already have. So it deducts the Super AIM-X 30 price, so you just get this at a 30% discount. So make sure to take advantage of that if you want this vehicle. I'm definitely going to say this Eurocopter Tiger is going to be one of the strongest vehicles in the game in helicopters. The only question is, is it still worth getting because of the fact that the French helicopter tree is still kind of weak? Well, now you've got another Eurocopter Tiger to grind, so it might not be as weak as it was before. But general pricing, if you want it, the Eurocopter Tiger by itself is $34.99 once you take away the premium account and GE, and then with this bundle here, it is per vehicle, it is $23.50 when it comes to these. So if you get this bundle, both of these will be worth around $23, $24, where with this, it'll be slightly more expensive. So of course, this is always going to be the better deal, and both of these vehicles are incredibly good in the game. I'm happy to see this. I think this is a great step for helicopters, and I'm just hoping that we get something interesting for Rank 7 for Britain, since every other nation now will have a competent Rank 7 attack helicopter. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, John Ryman, Joseph Anders, Martinez, Mopar 1969, Moxie, Super Cacti, Uyans Terry, and Eel of Goats, and of course Seductive Trash Can for supporting the channel.